Podcast. I'm Matt Bonta, and I'm with
Darrell Easley.
All right, Darrell, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. This is your first time here on Sequel Podcast?
Yeah, it is.
It's the first week. This is pod week for me. I podcasted yesterday. I'm going to podcast for the rest of the week.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know. I just felt like sitting down with a bunch of people and talking.
Yep, seeing what's up, huh?
What's that?
Seeing what's up, huh?
Seeing what's up.
There you go.
So yesterday was episode 117. Today we're doing 118. So you're on episode 118.
Cool. I'm honored.
I've been 118 is an insignificant number.
There you go.
It's not like 150. It's not 200.
I don't know. I've been considered insignificant most of my adult life, so it's okay.
There you go. So what do you want to talk about?
Not much.
We usually talk about movies here.
Cool. I know a lot of good movies.
I know we were supposed to do a commentary on Alien.
Yep.
That never happened.
Well, I did watch it. In fact, I watched all four of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I watched Aliens. Yeah, Aliens, and then Alien Resurrection, and then, of course, Prometheus.
Alien 3. You didn't watch Alien 3?
Yeah, I think I did, actually. So
you watched 5?
5 of them, yeah.
We got the new Alien coming out this year.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. That should be good.
I'm looking forward to that
a
lot.
What's it supposed to be, do you know?
It takes place after Prometheus.
But before
before Alien,
cool.
And it's supposed to kind of
bridge
the gap. Not bridge the gap, because there's supposed to be, I think, a couple of more before it would hit Alien.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to bridge the way the look of the alien in Prometheus, and the look of the alien, because they're like at the end of that movie Prometheus, there's like a different thing.
Yeah.
Like it's the same basic shape, but it looks different.
Exactly, yeah.
So they're supposed to kind of work towards making like this is why it looks this way and this is why it looks this way.
Yeah. I think they got a long way to go as far as like the what do you call it? When you terraforming. Because in the Prometheus movie, everything's all poisonous atmosphere and rock and everything else like that. And then if you look on the aliens, they come out of their spaceship there, and they don't have any masks on or anything like that. Nothing like Prometheus. So they've got to have.
They've got suits on, don't they?
No, not in that one.
Not
it's
an
all
alien?
air. Not an alien. Yeah, it's all they're breathing the atmosphere. It's stormy as hell. So I think that they're doing some terraforming stuff, and they'll probably talk about that in the next movie or next one after that. So that should be cool.
So we got that. So
Cool.
We never did the commentary.
Yeah.
You watched the director's cut of Alien?
I did. I actually watched both of them.
You watched both?
Yeah, because I wanted to see the difference between the two. And there is some extra footage and stuff in the director's cut, which was kind of...
And they took stuff out, too,
and they
because
did.
I think it's a shorter movie than the theatrical.
You know, I didn't notice that. I did notice there was a lot of different things in there.
I mean, they added the scene in with Tom Skerritt where he's, like, plastered on the wall.
Yeah.
And she goes and kills him. Like, sets that whole room on fire.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because that's
With
not
the
in the
flamethrower,
theatrical, yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool series of movies. I mean, if there is any kind of, intelligent life out there, I sure hope it doesn't look like those guys. Man, we're in deep trouble if we are.
Well, I mean, I think the thing with, like, Prometheus is they're trying to say that, like, there's not a god, but these engineers kind of created our existence.
Our existence, yeah. Well, there's some kind of, a lot of people believe that maybe there was some kind of intervention, because if you look back in human history, it's been like nothing, Neanderthal running around, clubbing over, mammoths and stuff like that and dragging their women back to the caves. And then all of a sudden, about 100,000 years ago, we start doing the agriculture. We start doing tools, just all of a sudden. And then...
Adaptation.
Exactly.
Evolution.
Yep. And then 10,000 years ago, we're actually, in civilization. So we're still hunter-gatherers roaming around, but there is starting to be some, advanced, more agriculture, more higher thinking. Languages start to come about. And then, if you look back just 1,000 years ago where we were, it's insane. And then now, we're flying, we're going, sending spacecraft to Mars and Pluto and out into the outer solar system and stuff. Where are we going to be in another 1,000 years?
Well, that's a good question. Flying cars?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Flying cars are pretty close now. So, I don't know if they got hoverboards.
Right.
rocket jetpack things for surfboards. So,
oh yes.
You seen that guy?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The space, or not space, the water jetpack that shoots the water and you into the air.
They've actually got a fuel powered jet kind of hoverboard thing now that's like that water one, but you don't have to have a personal watercraft hooked to it. Okay. It's actually a 4-jet engines, gyroscopically controlled.
Is it safe?
I don't know. How safe can you be flying around with your feet strapped to a board?
Yeah, right.
You know, I think it's still probably got a long ways to go. There's still just 1 or 2 of them around, and they're working on a scalable prototype. So
for consumer purchase.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of cool if they get to there.
Sure.
Still looks like a headache if you fall.
Or like if it explodes.
Yeah. You got to have a hobby, though, you know.
Yeah, but you don't want to die doing it.
I don't know. Some hobbies are worth it.
Oh, man.
Cool. So what have you been working on lately?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Got done with the movie, and then all of a sudden you're done doing anything.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got ideas, and I don't think I'll be able to make a movie this year, so I just maybe am not feeling like bothering to sit down and writing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. You got to take a break and get your creative juices going, right?
Sure.
So, I can't wait to see that thing. I still have. I've seen the previews for it on YouTube and stuff like that, and I'm saying, God, that's so cool. Just to know that I was in that and see all the things and all the different actors and things that I didn't even know were in the movie and you know, players that I'd never seen before.
Right, and for people who may be listening, if there is anyone that listens, like we don't get very many listeners. Darrell is in my movie Street Toughs as Freddy, the big bad
biker boss,
and you're also in Godsalt too.
Yes, for a short amount. You know, I think that's my claim to fame. Inmate number 2.
Right. I'm surprised you did that.
Yeah, you know, I don't care. I mean, I've always wanted to be, you know, in like a play or something like that. Never did get a chance in school or, you know, high school or do anything in college like that. And ever since we did the one thing and then we did the second one, I'm thinking, man, I had to go find some little theater or something like that or some, you know, little play troupe or something like that.
There's no reason why you can't. There's always plays being auditioned.
Yeah, but live is so much different. You know, I think that would be tougher.
I mean, it's different, but it's not. I mean, it's not. Like, it might be tougher from. It's certainly not tougher from my point of view, where I'm like the director and the writer and the producer and the actor, and I've got to make sure everything is the way it is every single day. Whereas you would come on only the days that we needed you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you did we have any tough days that you were around?
No, I mean we did a lot of stuff. We always had a good time when we were
maybe shooting, that last day that we had you, where we were over at Cory's place, and when the day that you're dumping the beer on my head.
Yeah.
Like, we had problems with Cheyenne. That was the day that I had to fire her.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
Because she changed her hair.
Oh, yeah.
So that
you got to have everything all the same all the time, yeah.
Right. I think that was the only real rough day that you were around for.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I must have been kind of naive because I did. Yeah, I mean, I dug it. I was liking to watch the whole program. You know, I just to be involved in something like that and see it actually come together, scene by scene by scene. And I, like I said, I can't wait to see it all put together.
Did you see Godsalt? Were you there for the premiere of Godsalt?
I was not there for the premiere.
Have you even seen the movie?
I've seen parts of it. I just had my girlfriend watch it with me because I told her what my part is.
You have a copy of Godsalt, right?
Yeah, I've got a copy in my truck.
Okay.
But, I was supposed to give it back to Cory.
You don't have your own personal copy?
No,
Darrell, this is my Rose's daughter, Leah.
Hi.
So my stepdaughter, and this is Cory's dad.
How you doing? No, I do want to see the whole thing through, but like I said, my girlfriend, as soon as she found out what, you know, my scene was in there, she's like, I'm not watching that. Oh, come on, it's just, I'm not watching it. I don't even want to see it.
You don't see any penetration in this.
I know, but she I guess she's seen the face before.
She doesn't want to see that face.
She doesn't want to see that, yeah. But like I said, you got to put yourself into the part, I think, and just being in the room and stuff like that, and knowing what's supposed to come out. You know, you just kind of throw yourself into it. I mean, who cares? Everybody knows it's a movie. It's not real.
Right.
But if you can convince somebody that, hey, wow, that's pretty crazy shit.
Right. If you can take somebody out of what they're actually doing, sitting watching a movie, and they can kind of project themselves into
and come into that world that you're trying to produce for them.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's really neat. That's one of the reasons why I like to watch movies. There's only a couple of movies I've seen that I really didn't care for. Most movies, to me, I don't care what's going on. If I can get into the first 10 or 15 minutes, I'm pretty much hooked.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well not talk to me while I'm watching the movie because I'm so immersed in watching what's going on and listening and kind of feeling the same emotions that the players are on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a great escape for most people, I think.
Absolutely. That's what I like to do.
Get out of your own head.
Is put a movie on when I need to
just chill out.
Just chill out. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I used to do that. Would go to a movie like by myself.
Mm-hmm.
If something's going on that I want to get away from, go to a movie, into a theater, and sit down in the dark by yourself and just lose yourself in the experience. Yeah,
I think that's the whole reason why people do movies, is to get everybody else out of their own head, escape reality for a little while.
Absolutely. So Godsalt in that movie,
mm-hmm.
like you're the shower rapist.
Yeah, well,
your wife too.
I mean, I didn't get first shot at him, but I still felt pretty good about the whole thing.
Like, how did that conversation happen? With I believe Cory went to you and was like,
he says, "Hey, Dad, I want you to be in the movie. Me and Matt talked about it. We got a part for you." I says, "Oh man, that's so cool. What am I gonna do?" He says, "Well."
Give you
that's the thing. He says, "Well, I think that it's part of the prison scene." And I said, "Oh yeah, cool, prison. I get to be a bad guy, And he's like, "Yeah, we're going to meet down here at the European Health Spa. I don't know if I should say that." And I says, "Okay, cool. What are we going to do there?" So like a weightlifting thing, or we're going to hold the bar down on the guy's neck or something. He says, "Kinda." And I said, "Okay, well, whatever." He said, "Okay." And when we get down there, he says, "All right, well, these guys are cool, and he introduced me to you and the rest of the guys over there shooting that day." I said, "Okay, cool. What are we gonna do?" She said, "All right, take your pants off." And I said, "Well, this should be interesting. What's the girl's name?" Well, it's no girl.
Mike.
It like I said, I didn't care what I was doing as long as I got to be involved in it. It was just so much fun.
And I think we freaked out like the Mexican cleaning lady.
Oh yeah, she wasn't all right with any of that.
Because Mike's screaming the entire time, and
she's out all like housekeeping.
I know,
please housekeeping.
Like Patrick, who was filming it, and Rich.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nervous laughter going on in the scene, and Mike was just like, guys, quit laughing, and let's just get to this.
It's like, cut. So that was funny.
To break the tension of exactly what was going on. I'm surprised Mike was up for it. I didn't write the scene in the script originally.
Yeah.
Patrick wanted it in there, so he kind of wrote it into the movie. And, when we went to get somebody to play the part, it was like, okay, there's this prison rape scene. And he's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, like I said, if you get out of your own, head and think this is a part of the movie, this is what somebody else sees happening in this movie. I'm not the storyteller. I'm just the pawn in the whole thing.
Right.
And you and the other guy were the real drive behind what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw what we couldn't see in that room was a continuation of the story and flashbacks and all that other stuff.
Right.
And it's all important to the storyline. And if you just get out of it and just do what's required, and then when you put it all together, it's really cool.
Yes, definitely. And I thought Godsalt came together really well. I'm very proud of that movie.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm not proud of Street Toughs.
Yeah.
But Street Toughs is a completely different movie. I didn't have Patrick on that one. Patrick was usually the guy that I went to. Cory kind of took his place for Street Toughs and was kind of like the number 2 guy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got you, because Cory was like, "Oh, my dad wants to do some more stuff," because you had a good time.
Oh yeah, it was. I kind of wish he would have, called me the next day or something, because after you sleep with somebody like that in a prison bathroom, you feel kind of self-conscious if you don't get that phone call. But yeah, no, like I said, it was all interesting. It was all just the process of seeing how a movie's made, and I like movies, so it's just a natural step for me is to see what's on the other side of the camera, see what it all takes to put one together, and even at this level. It was just so interesting to see all the different pieces and parts and realize you could do something 3 or 4 times and then pick the best one out, put that in, and I knew how it all worked before,
right?
But I'd never seen it happen, and that was what's so interesting to me.
Well, if you remember, it wasn't even like Street Toughs was not the first movie. It was Night Moves.
Yeah,
Night Moves was the first movie.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I necessarily wrote that with you in mind, but after it was all said and done, and we were thinking like, okay, we're gonna do this audition, I was like, oh, Darrell would be great for that. So you came down and auditioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was so much fun too. And it's weird that part of it's even harder to get into character because you're staring at 5 people there and you're recording it, and you're supposed to be reacting to something that's not there.
Right. It's very dry. Very dry read.
Yeah, but if like I said, if you can get yourself out of your own body and put yourself into somebody else's shoes, just for that 5 or 10 minutes that you have to do it, it's just that's the hardest part is getting into. I guess they call it getting into character.
Sure.
And once you get there, it's like you're somebody else, and you can just turn this way or that way and do things that you wouldn't normally do in your personal life.
Right.
So.
So there was Night Moves, and we did the audition, gave you the part, and then we had the read through at the GSR.
Yep.
And then from that point, the movie fell apart.
It did.
We couldn't finish casting it.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I was wondering what happened with that because I thought it was a really cool storyline.
Well,
when we read through the whole
have
thing,
the script, so maybe one day.
If you can get it all put back together and get other people, you don't even have to do with the same people, but you'd have to stick with the same or try to stick with the same kind of people that were in it before, or either that or change the storyline up a little bit.
No, it's fine.
Is it?
Yeah,
for standalone.
Well,
because then it wouldn't be a sequel; it'd be just a standalone storyline.
Yeah. Okay. I probably would have to because I like to keep my movies in the same universe.
Yeah.
With Street Toughs, the only connection to Street Toughs and something else like Godsalt is Fiasco, and he's got a very small part in Street Toughs. Almost didn't even end up, just kind of a quick cameo of the same guy. I was like, oh hey, you want to jump in and do this real quick just for fun?
Yeah. And
he's one of the villains in Godsalt. So that's the only connection between the 2 movies, and then Godsalt has Patrick's character Cheese, who's in everything that I've done before that. Working towards this goal of making movies. Yeah. And so, I guess I would take Street Toughs and have to adapt it as kind of in the same universe, because if you look at it, there's Rudy who West plays was a Rudy in Night Moves. Yeah. And then Night Moves fell apart because I couldn't get an actress to play the lead. And so then I wrote Crime America. Did you ever get a copy of that?
No, I never have seen that one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So there's Crime America, and it was Freddy in that. And I wrote another Rudy in that movie, which Wes was going to play again, and then that fell apart because the actors that I did have, I knew were not going to be able to stick to a regular filming schedule.
I see. Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this because these people aren't going to film when I need them to film.
And see, that's the thing. I think if somebody wants to do it bad enough, if you want to see a project through like this, when you step up and say, yeah, I'll do it, that's when you make that commitment and say, okay, I'll do it, and I'll make time to get these things done, because you got to have everybody together, at least the people that are going to be in a certain set of scenes.
Absolutely.
And do as much as you can while you have them. And then you can go on and, maybe not have those guys back for a couple, 3 weeks until you get some other stuff filmed.
Right.
But, yeah, that's one thing, like I said, when you guys told me, yeah, you got the part of Freddy, I said, yeah, I'm on this. When you need me, what do you want me to do,
Right, and your stuff was easy because you only needed to be one place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't do anything else other than right there in the shop scenes.
Right, that's all you were doing.
I did something. Oh yeah, out at
Cory's
Cory's house with the lift. Yeah.
Right, and that was it.
Yeah. So, and like I said, if we'd have had anything else, like the scenes where you're driving the trucks all over the place and the cars and doing the bike chases and all that stuff, if you'd have needed me there too, I'd have made time because it's just way too much fun.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the? I don't think you got to see it because you don't have a Facebook page. But,
yeah.
Everyone's got their Internet Movie Database page now.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got an Internet Movie Database page now. Did I send
cool.
that to you?
No,
Yeah, so you are officially on the Internet Movie Database.
Oh, nice, cool. I wonder when Hollywood's going to call.
Well, I've submitted it to 6 film festivals.
Oh, you did, really? Cool.
So by submitting those and being chosen to be in consideration,
yeah,
being chosen.
That's a big stretch.
That gets you the submission. You can submit it to Internet Movie Database to be considered. So now you're on there with everybody else in the world, like Brad Pitt and Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
So
well, they're okay.
So now you can everyone where everyone goes it's the IMDb. Now they can go and you can be found on there. Someone can randomly find you.
How do you get pictures? Are there pictures of me and stuff like that?
That's a different step. So so you've got the Internet Movie Database, which everyone can go to and look at. Now, if you want to adjust your stuff, I think you have to subscribe.
Sign up, subscribe.
Subscribe to the Internet Movie Database Pro.
Oh, I see.
Which is one step further for people who, so you can put your picture on there and you can add your agents and contacts and everything like that, and that is also available for people who are making movies, and they can go to IMDb Pro and look for actors and find their contacts and whoever is who represents these people.
Okay.
So that's one step further for the professional side of making movies. But one step back is where we all are.
Where we are, yeah. If the movie gets picked up and shown at any of the film festivals, that would be so cool to go someplace and see it and watch other people's reactions to it.
That would be nice, but Godsalt,
yeah.
I submitted Godsalt to probably 10 film festivals and not one of them.
Nobody picked it up. Huh?
Nobody, I think we, at the bare minimum, there was one that we were chosen for the competition side of it. Mm-hmm. So, they're oh, here's one of them. It might have just been a matter of,
we need some movies to fill in. This guy's the winner, but...
it was, there was, 10 movies, and they were this was the one we liked the best, but at least our name was there in competition against the other movies for that category.
Yeah.
But, it might have just been a matter of, oh, well, there's 10 submissions, there's 10 spots, so...
Yeah.
This was it.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
but that was the most that we ever got. Other than that, the in consideration went from in consideration to decisions were made, and it wasn't part of any film festival.
Yeah, that's right.
And I really liked Godsalt. I thought Godsalt's full of really heavy, deep themes that I put a lot into. Mm-hmm. Not to take anything away from Street Toughs in any way, shape, or form, but Street Toughs is not as deep as Godsalt was.
Yeah, it's kind of a
it's kind
whimsical
of
as bikers gets,
action, drama, crime film.
Well, if you get one of these screened, and then get some people interested in coming to see it,
would you be willing to go to Tokyo?
Ooh, Tokyo.
Because it's submitted to the Tokyo Liftoff Film Festival. In fact, both movies, Godsalt and Street Toughs, are both in consideration for
Tokyo. No kidding.
Yeah.
If we're in the competition and it's getting viewed, I'd probably buy a ticket. Would probably do it.
It's worth it. I've been to Tokyo.
I've never been to Tokyo. I've been to Yokosuka, and it's...
Where's that?
It's up the Yokosuka's in I think it's north. Well, if you're looking at Japan, it's the middle of the country, kind of on the east coast. Uh-huh. There's where you can pull in the submarine.
Okay.
In the Navy, and we pulled in for 3 days and we were out.
You didn't go to chill out, or
I got a day and a half of liberty, so. But it was fun, you know. It's just there's a whole bunch of Japanese people running around over there. It's kind of hard to talk to them. They don't speak a lot of English.
No, but I mean, when I went there, it's everyone speaks, pointing to something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this was back in the late '80s too. So I mean, I don't know if it's any different now than it. Well, it's probably more international, a lot more English speaking people over there now.
Probably
than it used to be.
It's probably more tourist friendly, foreigner friendly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're talking about 28, almost 30 years ago,
yeah,
it's amazing how much smaller the world has gotten in 30 years.
Sure.
You know, talking about the stuff that happens in the future and all the different things that have changed, and from even 50 or 30 years ago to now, it's going to be pretty crazy seeing what happens in the next 20 or 30 or I don't know how many years I got left, but we'll see. I just turned 51 this year, so I'm kind of sensing my own mortality over the horizon.
You're up there, huh?
Yeah.
So here, look, this is where we submitted it. Let's take a look at this. See if we can't. I can't show you what we're dealing with.
Just like most of my DVDs, without a box.
Without a box. All right, so submissions. So Street Toughs is in consideration for the Tokyo Liftoff Film Festival.
Wow, that's cool.
Notification date April 11th.
When will the film festival be?
Does not say. Okay.
It's a smaller festival, though?
This is a new thing, is the Liftoff Film Festivals.
Yeah.
Is they just came out with a bunch of different ones. So there's
okay.
LA Liftoff, New York Liftoff,
Oh.
London Liftoff. I think there's like a New Orleans Liftoff. So every year now they're doing this Liftoff, which is supposed to kind of give people like me a little bit better push and chance of something.
Cool. And you never know, in stuff like this where, you're sending things overseas, you never know what that market's going to be about, Right. I mean, look at Hasselhoff, for Christ's sake, David Hasselhoff,
right?
The Night Rider.
Yeah.
He is huge in like Germany and Holland. And,
well, sure. I mean, he's German, isn't he?
Well, yeah, Hasselhoff. But I mean, still, the guy's, it's really, I mean, come on.
He's kind of a
really?
joke here.
Yeah, he is. I didn't want to say, he sucks, but actually,
There's no problem with saying
since he lost the Trans Am, I think, is when he went downhill.
When he started doing like Baywatch.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tokyo Liftoff Film Festival. April 16th. Look, it's all in Japanese.
Oh, imagine that. Why don't those people speak English? What's wrong with this world?
Looking at it, it might be April 17th. So, like, our notification day is April 11th. It doesn't give much time.
We might not be buying a ticket this year to that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, a week notice to Japan. It'd probably be about what, $4,000 for tickets?
It's not. I don't think so.
Well, I know you can get to Australia pretty cheap, and that's even further.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's still a 12-hour flight.
I think it was like 18 hours.
To Japan?
I think so.
No, I don't even know if you stop in Hawaii.
Like 18 hours.
Yeah, it should. You fly out of LAX or San Francisco.
Yeah, we went straight from LA to Japan, and it was not fun.
Yeah, no, it should be about a 12-hour flight because Japan is north.
So maybe 12.
Australia.
It just felt like fucking 18 fucking hours.
It's about 12 hours because I know it's about 15 to get to in most cities in Australia.
So there's the Tokyo Liftoff we're part of, New York No Limits film series.
Oh, that's in October. Yeah, I could definitely figure that one out.
Well, the notification is in October.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it's a November 16 through.
So it's about a 2-week notice. Well, I don't know. In November, you might be able to get tickets pretty cheap
to New York.
Yeah, get last-minute tickets during the week or something like that. Just go over and find some dive to stay in and
for like 3 days and then come back. Los Angeles Liftoff Film Festival.
Yeah, that one's a 7-hour drive.
August
5 if you drive like me. So.
New York filmmakers. This one's submitted. It's not in consideration yet.
Yeah.
The Toronto International Independent Film Festival.
Oh, cool.
That notification is until January of next year.
That's East Coast.
And then Cinema New York City Film Festival also.
Yeah.
And all those are consideration except for the new filmmakers Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So there's 2 LAs, 2 New Yorks, and Toronto, and a Tokyo.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool if that actually gets screened.
And then Godsalt, I think I'm still waiting on the Tokyo, or the London liftoff, Tokyo liftoff, the Indie Horror Film Festival. So there's, oh wait, not accepted. Never mind. So not Indie Horror Film Festival.
Well, we don't have to watch it. We don't have to wait for that one then.
No, we do not. So just April 11th for Tokyo and November 4th for London. So
yeah, London would be a nice trip.
So we've got those, and
From here, that's about a 9 or 10 hour flight too, though. So
it would be nice if not even having to go.
Yeah.
If we still got to screen.
yeah. If you got screened and you actually got some feedback from people, that would be really neat. Because there you got people that are going to watch it. They're going to sit down, they're going to watch it, they're going to critique it. And
Well, see, that's the thing is people are watching it now and being like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Next.
But look at it this way: there are a lot of movies out there that people watch and pay, $15 in a theater to go see, and then they come walking out of there and say, "Oh, that sucked."
Right.
So if you got somebody, that
Now I'm paying people to watch my
That's
fucking
right.
movie and say it sucked.
Well, you never know though. I mean, everybody likes
someone
different
likes it,
movies.
absolutely, and that's the problem is I don't think Godsalt is for everybody, and I don't think they get it, especially when the first line of the movie is, "You guys look like a couple of fags." I think people get thrown off and kind of turn out, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of movie.
Well,
And they're probably taking it out of context. You really have to watch the whole thing and understand why this guy is saying that and who this person is that's saying that.
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy that says that, but he has a redemption at the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
well, like I said, still, if you get somebody to sit down and watch it, like me, I'll sit down. If I sit down and I watch the first 15 minutes, if after 15 minutes I'm still not into it, I'll change the channel. Something different. But if I get into it at any point in the next 15 minutes, I'm like, okay, all right, I see what's going on. I'm with it. Let's see how this turns out.
Sure.
And you watch it for the story. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes there are bad actors that get paid millions of dollars in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can be bad actors that don't get paid millions of dollars.
We could be great actors that don't get paid at all.
That's right.
Look, here's your IMDb page.
Oh, there I am. I'm
That's
famous.
you.
This my 15 seconds?
Known for, it's still here. So.
Street Toughs is Freddie.
That's right.
Nice.
That's you.
Look at that.
Here's the main page, Street Toughs.
Oh, yeah.
And here you are, Freddie.
Wow, there's a lot of people in there.
Yes. You know this guy right here?
Oh, yeah, that guy? Yeah, Weed.
He actually has a few more credits.
Yeah.
Special effects on Godsalt.
Yep.
Look at that. That was fucking 3 years ago.
Oh, man. That's crazy. How come time goes so fast?
Shit, I don't know.
I wonder if Spielberg's checked it out yet.
Yeah, Spielberg's oh, what's this Street Toughs?
Yeah, this is a lot like that E.T. movie I did a long time ago.
Look, you recognize this?
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's right. I got it was her niece, right? That was the niece?
Oh, yeah, her.
Yeah.
Nikki was
sitting up on the desk, and she's crazy. She's nuts. That's all right.
So that's it.
We're not going to tell them any secrets, but you got to watch the end of the movie to find out how it all turns out.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Like every movie, you got to make it to the end to find out how it all turns out.
And just so you guys know, out there in TV land, if you watch the beginning and you keep watching, you get to see what's at the end.
That's right.
There's a whole process that you have to follow.
Let me see here. I've got it, but I'm not going to let you see it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got to wait for the screening like everybody else.
Did you see the gag reel?
No, I haven't seen any of it. Like I said, I don't have Facebook.
I thought I sent you the gag reel. I thought I texted you the gag reel.
You'll have to do that. I'll have to check that out.
So, yeah, there's a gag reel.
Yeah, it's, like I said, the whole process of making a movie, I knew it was cool. I knew it had to be neat, watching it from the backside of the camera. And I knew that it would have had to be a lot of stuff to go into it because it takes sometimes a year or even longer to make a movie in Hollywood.
Yes.
But I figured, wow, that's just because they're too complicated. And
they've got a lot more going on. Right. This is definitely a lot easier.
But it's still a huge undertaking to make something and get some variety on the screen.
Well, we don't have all the time in the world. Like they're getting paid, they're working.
They don't have a regular job.
Right. They're paid right up front. Sometimes, like, okay, here's your $50,000, here's your $100,000, here's your $1 million, and they got their money. They can chill and be like, okay,
when you need.
Here's my 8 hours, right?
Yeah. You don't like the 8 hours I just gave you? Talk to the union rep. Oh well. Did you see the Grammys?
No, I didn't.
No. Yeah.
Was that last night?
Oh yeah, it was last night.
That's music, right?
Well, I don't know. Last night was politics. It is. It's supposed to be music, and everybody's. It's strange to see what's happened in politics since November.
Right.
And then of course since January 20th, everything's turned everybody upside down on their heads.
I don't even know what to think.
It's going to be interesting.
Did you vote?
I did. And I voted for the bad guy, right?
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
You and Cory both?
Yeah, Cory's kind of got the same kind of picture in life as I do. I figure the stuff, the definition of insanity, right?
Doing the same
thing over and over and over again.
Expecting different results.
Exactly. So if they haven't gotten, after 12 years of having, or 12 or was it 16 Democrats?
Well, I mean, Bush was for 8 years.
Yeah,
so it was
Clinton,
Bush, Democrat,
and it was Republican. Well, yeah, does Bush really count? He's more of instead of like Republican, he's more like Simeon.
Not a Bush
little dancing monkey there. I don't know. Anybody who makes up their own words,
sure,
to that extent,
he seemed a little.
It's okay to throw something in there every once in a while, but man, I'm the decider. I want to decide things. It's just. It's crazy. And
I'd rather have him now than.
No. Oh yeah, than Trump, really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I don't know. I say if we could get all the violence to stop and people shooting and stabbing and
well, you'll never be able to do that.
Yeah, but at
rallies,
political rallies,
like fucking drugs in the water.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's
some,
been done too.
Some Percocet and Vicodin into the water, and people can start drinking the water.
Was that Jones used something different, didn't he, in the Kool-Aid? It was
and poison, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, there's that too. So, but I don't know if we can back off and let's see what happens in the next 4 years anyway. And he's already there. Give him the chance to get something done. If he doesn't get something done, we vote somebody out and we vote somebody in.
Right.
It happens every 4 years. So.
Absolutely.
Too soon to tell.
Well, I didn't vote for either.
You didn't?
I voted for Johnson.
Johnson? You're Johnson? Yeah, the Green Party guy, right?
Yeah, the
Independent?
The Libertarian.
Libertarian, that's right. Yeah, my house is a little different too because my girlfriend, she says she's independent too. Mm-hmm. And then to hear her talk,
well, she's conservative and Republican, but I didn't like the conservative Republican candidate.
Yeah. And
I didn't really like the liberal Democratic candidate.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't in all conscience vote for her. She got a lot of people killed and a lot of people in danger. And ex-military, I can see how the things that she let out on her personal server didn't do anybody any favors.
Sure.
And then to tell you, oh no, it's just all
Yeah, but 33,000 fucking con artists.
Oh, they are. 33,000. What was it? What were they talking about? 33,000 emails about yoga pants and somebody's wedding or something like that. And I was thinking, really? Come on. There's got to be a lot more in there. And I didn't email anybody but my husband. No, you emailed a lot of people. And if it weren't the fact that there was a record of it somewhere, they just had to fish around and find it. And then somebody let the cat out of the bag, and then she's like, well, none of that stuff's important. It's just like, the other one, Clinton, her husband,
mm-hmm.
It's okay what he did in the Oval Office. Monica Lewinsky, they didn't do anything, every one of us has probably not done that,
Right, nobody was hurt.
Yeah, exactly. But when you go to, exactly.
Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary got the red ass over that one. But if you lie to Congress about stuff, that's where the trust issue comes up. That's where things start going wrong for you. So, too soon to tell.
Right. I guess it's too soon, but I mean, even this soon, it still seems not so. So great.
He's done a lot of stuff that has gotten a lot of people in an uproar.
Right.
But, well, if something can happen with the terrorism thing, there's a lot of people getting hurt and killed, and even if, they didn't come out of specifically those countries, even though those are the countries that they deemed are the most dangerous as far as terrorist activities. They came from other places, and some of them are homegrown. And they're watching that stuff, and they knew about a lot of those guys before they actually acted.
Right.
And if they'd have done something before it was too late, then things might be different right now.
Absolutely.
But you can't wait. You find out stuff like that, you got to go stomp the bugs.
You got to move.
Yep.
Sure.
Cool. So, this is cool. So who all hears about this?
I posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
And whoever I'm friends with.
I see. Whoever you're friends with? You got a lot of friends?
I've got a regular amount of friends.
Oh, regular amount.
Right, but I mean, the way Facebook works is like, if no one sees it, then they're not going to click on it. Mm-hmm. Or if no one cares, they're not going to click on it.
True.
But I post it, and if someone feels like clicking on it, someone sees it on their page, on their feed, and they feel like listening to it, then click on it, and they can listen to it.
I see.
I post it on YouTube, and then post it on Facebook.
Yeah. You get a lot of hits off of YouTube?
The one I did yesterday was really good.
Yeah?
It has a lot of hits, and it's only been like a day.
Yeah? Cool.
But you gotta think, so like, so I podcasted, so whoever I podcast with, I tag them in the post. Mm-hmm. So not only all my friends see it, now all of their friends see it.
Ah, I see.
So if they're like, oh, so-and-so is in this video or something,
there you go.
They can look at it. But since you're not on Facebook,
I've got a Facebook account, or at least I used to. I just haven't looked at it in like 5 years.
Yeah, they probably got rid of it.
Yeah, I'm just one of those guys that I got something against Facebook for some reason. All those people looking at my personal life. If I want to tell somebody about what I'm doing, hey, I'll say, hey, guess what I'm doing? I'll call them on the phone.
But it's a good way to network and get stuff out there.
It is, yeah.
So like, so they'll see that I podcasted with you, but only my friends will see it. Maybe Cory will see it.
Yeah, well, if Cory puts it on his, then everybody else will see it that he does.
Sure.
So all you just got to do is get Cory to tag it, and then this starts going like crazy, and pretty soon, that Spielberg thing's happening, right?
Spielberg's listening to this podcast.
That's right.
What is this guy talking about? Yeah. He's a Trump supporter, so I don't know about that.
Maybe I wasn't the guy you needed. So when's the next project? You said you can't make a movie for another year? You're going to be busy this year or something?
I'm going to be getting like a second job and just be working and putting money away.
Yeah.
So like I won't have time to kind of produce a movie.
Yeah, this is going to be the year, I think, that one of the last couple of years anyway, that it'll be feasible to buy a house and do all that stuff. Things are going to start booming again, I think.
Oh, so, yeah?
I think the economy's going to turn and really take off now. If again, we're back to politics, but if they get back to where things are easier for businesses in the United States, and it's harder to ship things overseas as far as the jobs and companies bringing all the goods back from overseas manufacturers or their branches overseas.
Right.
I think the economy's going to do a lot better. Plus, here in the Reno area, we got a lot of new stuff out there on USA Parkway. There's Switch. There's Panasonic batteries for the Tesla factory. The Gigafactory out there. There's just so much big industry coming, and this area has never really seen that. Mm-hmm. It's always been gaming or recreation or tourism.
Right.
And now we're starting to get into some heavy industry that a lot of the stuff from like back in the Midwest, this is the kind of things that they do, building cars and big industrial stuff and on down to smaller manufacturing and warehousing.
Is Tesla up and running already?
I don't know if they've got the factory going. I know Panasonic is actually running. They're working on that. I know that Switch is just about there. They just had a big hiring fair here not too long ago. And I don't know if you know Switch, what Switch is.
I have no idea.
Switch is a internet server hosting company. They have a giant building, and it's nothing but solid servers.
Okay.
And they're serving not only the Bay Area, but Vegas and LA too. So everything, instead of routing through all those places up in the Silicon Valley, they're all routing to here and routing back over, and it takes 4/100ths of a second longer to go from L.A. to San Francisco through here than it does to go through the Silicon Valley. And our costs and our taxes and everything else is cheaper. Nevada's kind of a industry favorable state, and that's why a lot of these big companies are coming here, especially even the big warehousing and stuff, because logistics and stuff, they don't have to pay a lot of taxes on the things that they're bringing in and shipping out of this state. So it's I don't know, it's going to be an exciting time. Next 10 or 20 years are going to be pretty crazy.
So we have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yep.
We can't just fast forward in 10 years and see how things look.
That's right. Well, I know that who was it? Was it Ben Franklin said buy land? They're not making any more of it.
I think that was Will Rogers.
Oh, Will Rogers. Yeah, him too. I thought it was Ben Franklin.
Maybe he said it first.
He said it.
But I could have sworn it was attributed to Will Rogers.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that was a bad quote for me then.
Or I could be fucking wrong.
We'll have to Google it and get back to him. So, oh well, a lot of famous people said a lot of famous shit.
That's right. Yeah, it's Will Rogers. Buy land, make name more of the stuff.
There he is. There he is. I thought it was Benjamin Franklin. I was wrong. Oh no, the Benjamin Franklin. He did the what? Power or the telephone? He did the power.
He did electricity.
Graham Bell did the telephone.
Well, I mean,
he did AC.
Ben Franklin, I think he more
took other ideas,
thought up the possibility, but didn't have the technology in his time to move ahead with it.
Yeah.
So like he did, based off of cartoons and things, I had the kite,
flying the kite
with the key on the end of it to grab the electricity, but he more along the lines with the idea man, but knowing in his time that he couldn't create those things.
Yeah.
So people like Thomas Edison, Tesla,
Nikola Tesla, yeah. He did DC though. He was all about DC and broadcasting power.
But they all started creating the electricity that Ben Franklin put out there. Was like, hey, we can do this.
And then everybody else put their input into it, and pretty soon you can plug stuff into the wall.
Right. Like right now, it's like, oh, sure, we want to cure things like cancer. We're working on it. Yeah. Today we can't do it, but in the future, after trial and error, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Did
you know, I don't know if you heard about it, that cancer, there's a plant. I was reading about this just the other day. It's weird that you brought it up. There's a plant in Australia. It's called the blushwood tree.
Okay.
And it makes some kind of barrier or a fruit of some kind. And they've done some testing, animals and then now human testing in Australia, that they inject this blushwood, some kind of serum. I don't know if it's a reduced, concentrated version of it or whatever it is. But they inject it.
Medicinize it.
Yeah, they medicinize it into an injection, and they inject it directly into tumors, like skin tumors and stuff like that. And within hours to days, the tumor is visibly reduced in size, and days to weeks, they go from having cancer cells to nothing. And it's supposed to be
and it stays.
Great, and it stays.
It doesn't regrow.
It doesn't regrow. It doesn't come back. But so far it's used on certain kinds of brain cancers, like thyroid stuff in your neck, in your head, and then it works really, really well so far on types of skin tumors, like melanomas and stuff. So
what about like lung cancer?
I don't know that they've done any testing on that. You can YouTube it and see what all's going on, but they've got some news articles and news programs that have picked it up in Australia.
Right. See, every day we're making leaps and bounds in science and medicine.
And it's all coming out of rainforest stuff, which is, what we have a big, huge problem with is rainforest deforestation.
Sure.
And of course, that's not good for anybody either. And I don't know if you remember that movie, Medicine Man.
I didn't see it.
Connery.
I know what you're talking about, but I didn't see that one.
That was the whole thing about that was a cure for cancer, and it was some kind of ant that they thought it was in some kind of plant or something like that, and they kept finding it in different places, and they couldn't track it down, and then all of a sudden they did some testing with contaminated samples of sugar for a baseline, and it showed up. And Sean Connery runs over to the table and lifts the lid off the sugar, and here's this little ant that's some kind of rainforest ant that's living way up in the canopy, and then came down and got into the sugar, and that's why they found the traces there. And then, of course, the loggers came in and mowed the whole area down,
Right,
so then they had to go find the
So there's possibility of certain cures that we used to have don't have anymore because habitats are being destroyed.
Exactly.
Animals are being destroyed, insects are being destroyed, plant life is being destroyed.
Yep.
Going from something that was flourishing to something that's now extinct and never going to see again.
Exactly. 10,000 species, what is it, a year are going away.
Are they really?
Yep. Different, plants and animals and insects and everything else like that. And if you followed the, what do you call it?
Weekly World News?
No, Weekly World News. No, the like Darwin's theory of evolution.
Yeah,
if it's going away, it may be evolving on the other side to fill in those niches that are open now. Mm-hmm. So it's like
that's an spot. I've never thought about it that way.
Well, if it goes one way, it goes the other way. Does it go fast enough the other way? I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. They're still finding new stuff all the time. It's always been there.
See.
Yeah, somebody will.
Now, 200 years from now.
We might not see it or not.
No, probably not.
Oh, well. Yeah. Oh, man.
So what else is going on?
Not much.
We covered quite a bit.
We did.
We got to talk about the movie.
Yep.
You want to do another one?
Absolutely. I want to talk to Cory about doing some kind of like little low buck project, just a few people, and I'm always into like spaceships and aliens and science fiction and stuff like that.
I want to do something that's science fiction like.
Did Cory mention that to you?
I don't know.
Doing some kind of like
he only talks about zombies.
Yeah.
He's got a hard-on for zombies. He's got a zombie hard-on.
He does. He said, you seen
that's what his wife says.
His bug-out stuff, all his backpacks and his bullets, and he's ready to go at a drop of a hat. He's thinking the zombies. He's already got it figured out how long it's going to take him to walk from town to his house out in Cold Springs, and he figures it's going to take him about 2 weeks. I don't know. He says I can always swear to God.
2 weeks.
He told me, Gil, you gotta stay out of town, and you can't go near any roads and this and that and something else. You're only gonna move at night. And, if it's cold outside, you got to be careful. You get frostbite. You can't.
What if it's the middle of the summer?
Oh, I don't know.
2 weeks to go from, like, the El Dorado.
That's right. 2 weeks from the El Dorado.
Is he going to be at the mall when the zombies attack and suddenly he's got to walk home?
I think if the zombies attack the mall, it's probably not a bad thing.
I think that's where all the zombies are hanging out.
I've seen a lot of them down there.
No, I'm sure if something happens, 2 weeks, are you kidding? There's still going to be gas.
Yep.
There's still going to be cars.
Yep.
He can probably hop into a car. Now, I know that there might be spots where, maybe cars are fucking piled up on each other. Yep. Maybe there's a roadblock somewhere. But no doubt you can get into a car somewhere and drive a little bit and then kind of walk through the wreckage to get to another spot where there's a little bit that you can drive.
Yeah.
Find some big-ass truck. Drive on the fucking hills.
There you go.
There's not going to be cops making sure.
I think one of the things that scares the hell out of them is not only the zombies, but the EMP that's supposed to come from a nuclear attack.
The electromagnetic pulse that's supposed to wipe everything out.
Exactly. And he thinks that it's going to kill all the cars that are worth driving, apparently. So.
Well, I mean, as long as it kills all the debt that I have, I don't really care.
That's right. Yeah. Wipe your credit cards free, right?
Right. I mean, look, if the EMP hits and only my house and my shit's destroyed is one thing.
Yeah.
But, if it wipes everything out, then you just start back over again.
That's right.
It should be fine. I'm cool with that.
But if an EMP hits with the zombies, we're all in trouble. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that, I could just, walk up to with a baseball bat and say, I think you're a zombie, and whack him. Well, and I could get away with it then. That'd be okay, too.
Well, so, if the power... So if something happens, how do we run out of power? What is running our power? I know we pay fucking NV Energy, formerly Sierra Nevada Power Company.
Yeah.
So someone's down there, what, flipping switches?
Well, what do you know how an EMP works?
I know how an EMP works.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about the EMP. Assuming that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Assuming just people start dying and turn into zombies.
Yeah.
The people who work at the power company, they're like, well, we've got to go save our loved ones. So no one's down at the power company making sure our power is going, right?
Yeah.
So how long before we run out of power?
It automatically runs for days and days at a time. I think it'll go for about a month.
Where is the power company? Like, where is...
Well, the power company, I mean...
If you look at what you know absolutely everything.
No, I don't know everything, but I got friends that do a bunch of different stuff. I actually have a friend that works for NV Energy as an electrical engineer.
Okay.
And the power company is basically several different power plants. There's Ormet Power Plant, which is over off of the Mount Rose Highway.
Okay.
They're a steam geothermal plant. Then there's Valmy Power Plant out east of town, which is a natural gas burning power plant. And there's also the steamboat. There's a one up at Farad. There's one that's driven on the water there. You know, the lake. There's Derby Dam. I think has got some power generation to it. Then further south, there's a great big solar power plant, reflective solar power. They've got transmission lines coming in from the north, which are right out here by Stead, all those big lines. So power comes from every place.
So in the event that...
It's going to take a hell of a lot to take the grid down.
Right, so if these people just abandon their work...
Yeah.
We'll still have power.
We'll still have power, and it all runs automatically for the most part until it runs out of fuel.
Like, there's no one down there fucking shoveling coal into a fire to make sure everyone's going. There's not a bunch of people on fucking stationary bikes.
No hamsters on wheels either, I don't think.
You know, it's, I mean, especially the solar power one. So, like, potentially we could have power indefinitely.
I don't know if indefinitely, but like I said, they theorize that it could take at least a month and possibly as much as a few months for things to start breaking down with no maintenance. That's the problem, is you got to have people to maintain all the equipment. If it'll run by itself until it starts breaking. Right. When it starts breaking, that's when the system drops down.
Okay. So we should be good for about a month?
Yeah. So as long as, you know...
So Cory's thinking, I'm at the mall, zombies attack, I've got 2 weeks to walk home.
He's got a lot of... And I don't understand all the different things that he thinks about.
How did this 2 week thing come up?
I don't know. He told me one time he figured it out if he walked this many miles a day, and he had to stay off the road and stay isolated.
Let's look this up. Okay, so...
I don't know how long it would be to get... He lives in Cold Springs, too. But his wife doesn't live in or work in Cold Springs. She works way down the south of town. So she's going to have a little longer walk. So maybe he'll have dinner ready and you know, like a few sandwiches packed up before she shows up. So
what? They're going to leave their house and go where?
I don't know. But,
to the mall? Okay, look. So walking from here... Mm-hmm. From Cold Springs to Meadowood Mall, it shows it's 6 hours and 48 minutes.
Well, yeah, but that's not dodging zombies and walking off the road and you know, badgers and polar bears and all the other stuff you got to dodge.
He's crazy.
I don't know how it works.
He's crazy.
He said he had it all figured out. But I don't know. It maybe it wasn't 2 weeks. Maybe it was 3 or 4 days. But he like you said, he's got a lot of, you know, ideas on how he's going to get to the things that he needs to get to.
Does he have like an end game that you know of?
No, he said he's just going to drive up into the hills, get out of the area where the zombies are, and get out into the hills. I mean, you've seen the show Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing I think that he's basing things on.
He's hoping to go up to Par and hang out for a little bit.
I don't know, you know.
Set up camp.
Get into jail.
Boulevard.
It might be the safest place to go.
And suddenly, you know, there's a couple of guys not unlike your part in Godsalt that are waiting for him as well.
You know, everybody's got to have a hobby. You know? if he's looking to spend...
Well, one of those guys is looking for Cory to be his hobby.
That's right. Well, you know. Cory likes to help people out with their interests as well, I think.
He doesn't mind letting a helping hand or whatever.
Is the reach around a helping hand? I don't know how that works.
Well, I mean, He'll be getting the reach around.
There you go.
He'll be the power bottom.
And he'll find his own inmate number 2. That's funny.
Yeah, zombies will be the least of his problem.
Yeah. Pretty soon, I know one thing. I couldn't be gay. I gag brush my own damn teeth. It's a terrible thing. If it weren't for women, we'd all be gay. You realize that,
Absolutely.
right?
Well, then we'd be asexual.
Well,
there would be no gay. There would only be one, and it would be asexual.
I think I'd be a Buddhist monk at that point.
I mean, look, if there were no women, and then there would eventually be nobody. Because there'd be no...
Don't tell them they're that important.
Yeah, no.
You know what the problem is? Women have all of the, the hoo-ha down there. And they got half the money, and they're not sharing either one of them unless they want to. So we're all in trouble.
So we've been going an hour.
Cool.
You got work to go to?
I got to get back to work here pretty quick. Yeah.
Did you leave work to come here?
No, actually, I get done with classes in the morning about 12:45, and then I ran a couple little errands, and then got up here.
Okay.
So. Had to stop by and let the dogs out for a minute and let them run around and get all excited.
And then you'll get back to me about the theater.
Yeah, as soon as I find something else out. I should know something. He's supposed to work tonight and ask.
Do you know anyone at TMCC?
I do, but not in the theater department. It'd be in the HVAC department. But I can ask him too. I didn't think about that. Do they have a movie theater up there?
They've got a screening room, and it doesn't have to be a movie theater. It can be like a screening room.
Oh, okay.
Like if you would have been to Godsalt, it was just like a rehearsal hall for like bands to go into, and there was just kind of like an open area, and we just put a bunch of folding chairs out.
I see.
I would like something a little bit better than that. I really like the screening theater that they have at TMCC. It's really nice. It's got like a, like a semicircle. Because I took a class and they showed some movies and we went down there, and I'm pretty sure all the teacher did was be like, hey, I want the room for these dates to screen the movies that go along with my course.
Sure.
So, I know Cory at one point went over there to look for Godsalt to screen it there, and they told him something like $400. And because it seemed like not a valid option at that point, we never really looked further into it. But maybe like a student or another teacher or somebody else might be able to wing something.
Yeah.
Like finagle, talk themselves into getting the screening room for a night.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's a possibility. I mean, they can't use that facility all the time. I wouldn't think.
Right. I'm pretty sure it just sits empty until some teacher needs it.
Well, let me see. Like I said, I know some people that work for Truckee Meadows now. One of the guys I used to work with over at Career College, he went to work for TMCC, but he's in the HVAC department over there, down on, Industrial or whatever it is.
Oh, so a different campus.
Or Neal Road, yeah, someplace down, in
not the Dandini campus.
Not the Dandini campus, but seeing how he's working there, he may be able to have some kind of connection.
He might know somebody else.
Well, he might not know him, but at least he's working for that company. For the school, and he might have some kind of way to
he might have more
procure the room. Maybe they do something for employees.
Right.
And I know that Cliff would give me a hand with that. I just got to call him and find out.
There you go. So we might have more options.
Exactly.
And we might figure this out, and we get a screening before long, and everyone can see it and be happy.
Yeah. Well, it'd be cool to do a double header, right? And do an intermission and do some food or something like that. Is it just going to be friends, or is it family, friends?
I like to open it up to
public,
everybody.
Yeah.
So invite your family, invite your friends. They can bring along whoever they want.
Yeah.
And I would like to have everyone put on a nice suit, put on a nice dress.
Yeah.
At least the actors.
Yeah.
The people can fucking walk in wearing shorts and t-shirt.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be cool if everyone dressed nice.
What kind of time window are you looking at?
No time window.
No time window. It's just whenever we can get it done.
Well, what I want to do is have DVDs made up. And have them give everyone a copy, and then anyone who sees the movie, if they want a copy, we can sell it to them to kind of recoup some
of the costs.
Sure.
Cool. What's it cost to make the Well, I guess I don't know.
For 100 DVDs, it's like $238, something like that.
Okay, so only a couple of bucks a piece.
Like $10 a piece.
Yeah. Oh yeah, to sell them. Yeah, that's a great.
I mean, well, like if I get 100 and there's like 30 people in the movie, so then I've only got 70 to kind of to sell.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting on like artwork for the cover for this company that would do them.
Who's doing the artwork?
Well, Cory's got some pictures, and he was trying to do something, and he was having some trouble fiddling around with what Photoshop type program he has.
Yeah.
So I told my sister to like, okay, here's the picture, draw it, because I want it to kind of look like a drawn poster type thing. So it's just a matter of getting the picture and getting those made up. And I don't know how long those take to get here, but I mean, even if I don't have those, like that would just be a nice way for all the dominoes to fall into place. But otherwise, the screening's more important, and DVDs, I can burn them out and give everyone a copy right now.
Yeah. Well, beat on Cory and see if he can get that picture done and figured out. See,
well, I mean, he's the
whole IT department for sequel productions.
Well, he sent me one that, like, he did all that he could, and it wasn't quite what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's just because the lack of options his program has.
Did somebody already draw it?
No, and I keep forgetting to. It's my sister. I'm gonna text.
Do you have text me the picture? I have another student that draws gangsters and clowns and all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, this guy is really, really talented. He's one of the guys at the school, and he's doing HVAC, and he's a younger guy, and he's so into comic books and stuff like that.
He's a good artist.
Oh,
I've seen Cory draw too.
Let me show you a picture of the stuff that he drew. It's crazy how good this guy is.
That's a pretty big phone you have.
It is. It's actually my movie screen. So I'm ready to be. Watching movies on this thing any day. Let me get this. Here. This is the kind of drawings that he does. This was just inside of one of his notebooks.
Okay.
So
is he a Mexican guy?
No, he's actually a little Jewish kid.
And he's drawing like these Mexican.
Yeah, cholo looking.
Yeah, cholo looking.
You should see some of the cars and stuff he draws. Like this. Here's another one of his cars. He's got his own comic book name, ready.
That's your car, isn't it?
No, actually, that's just some
but that
truck.
Looks like your car.
No, this is just some truck that he drew out of his mind. That's
but don't you got a truck like that?
No, I got a Ford. I mean, I got a Chevy. This is an old Ford or a Mercury or something.
Oh, well, Jesus Christ.
I know.
If you want to fucking split hairs.
Well, I mean, you're a movie guy, I'm a car guy. This is what he did.
Not a car guy.
Because in refrigeration, there's a part called a thermal expansive valve, right? Mm-hmm. And what it does is it feeds refrigerant to the cold part of your refrigerator. He drew this for a project.
Okay.
Just for a lab. He just drew that. And that's incredibly detailed and very realistic for what it actually is. So, I mean, if you can send me a picture, I can have him draw it. And he's pretty fantastic.
Let's see. So it saves to a weird... I'm sure this is all terribly interesting to people who are listening. But, so where is it at? Is it this one? This one? This one? This one? Like, I don't... Radio silence.
Radio silence. It's so interesting.
All right, well then...
my students get the same thing every once in a while. When I get too deep into my phone, my brain just shuts off.
All right, well, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
That's Sequel Podcast for the day. I'm Matt Bonta.
Darrell me.